What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Today, I got Carson and Jackson. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good. I wanted to have the boys on today because they actually do a business model that you've probably never heard of before. So, guys, do a quick intro, let the people know what you do, and run it.
Right on. So my name is Jackson Wiener. I'm 24 years old. 2.5, closing in on 3 years ago in college. A lot of people know what wholesaling houses is, where you basically sell someone else's house without even owning it. So I was trying to get into that, trying to figure out what I kind of wanted to do with my life. I had like $70 in my bank account. He had 10. I kind of stumbled across this on accident because I had a home builder text me back and they said, hey, I will buy any vacant lot from you in this zip code for $50,000. So what I did is I texted all the other properties in there and said, I'll give you $30,000 to $35,000, right? So I would negotiate, and I got 5-6 contracts at $35,000 to $40,000 with a span of like a week. And long story short, like without using any of our own money, just by flipping the contract, we were able to make like $40,000 in a single week. So at that point, we kind of just went all in on this. Carson and I partnered up July 1st of 2022. We founded our company, JW Light Homes. Since then, we've done about 600 to 700 flips of just sheer vacant land. We've done a few houses, some commercial stuff in real estate. We've made millions of dollars doing so, and that's kind of how we got started in the business. And our business model itself is just flipping land to builders. So
yeah, and then I'm Jackson's younger brother. Carson just turned 22, and we've been running all the businesses and doing everything together since then.
Right.
And I want you to keep in mind, too, this is not like traditional real estate stuff. These guys are flipping land from their computers.
Yeah, like we've done about 600 transactions, and we haven't been to one of these properties in person.
Right, and not to mention, like, we've lived in 3 different states now. We've been to Dubai, we've been to Tulum twice. Like we're traveling. All you need for this is your laptop and your phone, which I think is the best part of it. Like it's obviously amazing to make money, but there's only so many things you can buy. The cool thing is the freedom you actually get with this lifestyle.
Yeah. Okay, so that was a whole lot of stuff right there, and
Yeah.
we're going to jump into all these details because when I came across you guys, when Tuesday connected us, I was looking more into your funnel, and I was like, wow, this is actually something that I've never heard of before because we're so used to the info space. Everyone's selling coaching to the most basic stuff now, right?
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and break this down in terms of, you mentioned something in terms of like negotiating for people, for builders and sellers, right? So how are you leading these conversations to even talk to these people?
So it's actually a lot simpler than you would imagine. So you reverse engineer it, right? So we go to the builder first. So we'll just go look up houses built in the year 2024 on Zillow, and we'll find a zip code, and there will be 105 newly built houses. It says the builder right on Zillow. So you just look it up, you call them, you say, hey, are you looking for any more lots? If it's a corporate builder, a DR Horton, Meritage Homes, odds are they are. So it's okay, what are you looking for and how much will you pay? So they'll give you a price, let's just say, keep the numbers easy. I'll pay $100,000 plus closing costs for any lot you can bring me, right? So then you go on there's softwares that do this, but essentially you just get the data from the county, and they'll just give you everyone's full name and mailing address and their property address, and then we'll just send a mass text message to 2,000-3,000 people at a time and say we'll offer you $90,000. And all you're looking for is one person to say yes. You collect their email, you're done. So a lot of times it takes 30 seconds. You just send the text message out, you just collect an email. They send the contract at $90,000, builder signs at $100,000, you get paid $10,000.
And a lot of people that own this land, they don't even know they own it. They've had it passed down in the family for 50, 60, 70 years, and they have no idea on how to liquidate it. So we're just kind of going in, talking about something they didn't even know they had, and we can help them get cash in a week or 2-3 weeks. They're happy to do it.
Right, because also real estate agents, they're going to make 3% on the transaction no matter what, right? So if I'm a good real estate agent, I'm going to sell the $10 million house and make $300,000. I don't care about the $20,000 lot. So good agents won't even work with them to sell it, and builders have no idea how to get in contact with a seller that lives in Michigan who owns a property in Florida. So we're just bringing value on both sides because the seller couldn't sell without us, and the builder's going to save a lot of money by working with us.
Okay. So are you manually calling these builders yourself or no?
Our team does it now, but in the beginning, yes. You just look them up. They have a land acquisition specialist. You just call the phone number and you say, hey, listen, like I'm looking to bring you guys deals. I see you're paying $100,000 for lots right now. If I could bring them to you at 95, would you want more?
And again, now we're actually buying them. So when you touched on the coaching side of things, why we're starting to coach and help people learn to do what we do, why we're doing this podcast, why we're helping people out to learn, is because we're actually purchasing lots now so that we can build. So we have $12 million in active development right now, and we're purchasing 5 to 10 lots a month right now.
Just from our students.
Our students this is why deals, and we're buying them now. So it helps us when our students are doing well because they're making money, we're getting good lots out of it, and then we can all work together.
Right, which is not something that a lot of beginners should get into because there's definitely a lot more moving pieces. But we kind of zoomed out of things and we were like, we're making 5-10 grand a lot. These builders are making 100, right? So how do we become the builder? And then we scaled it where we're like, let's save money on all the deals and show people how to do for builders what we've been doing for the last 2 years. So that's why we spent the last 2.5 years actually building our business. We just came on social media in December, right? So we like just finally started doing everything like that because our plan is to build a lot more moving forward.
Okay, so basically you're kind of climbing and accelerating up the ladder of real estate right now.
Right.
Exactly.
So you mentioned too your average walkaway deposits between 5 and 10K per deal, right?
Yeah. It's 8,200 to be exact.
That's your average.
Average over the last
And
2.5
also,
years.
like, keep in mind too, like, this isn't econ, this isn't Amazon FBA. Like, when we make $8,200, we make $8,200. Our profit margins are like 92% after marketing. It's a lot different than when, like, if someone says I make 100 grand a month with ecom.
Yeah, you see a Stripe dashboard for 50 grand
off of that dashboard. Like, we're making 92.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically
also
straight profit.
It is the one business model because again, average out it's 8,800, right? Like there's always gonna go back to that number. Some deals are $500, but some deals are massive, and it's the only industry I've ever seen that's this simple to get into to where you can make $250,000 on a 15-minute phone call, and we've done it, right? So like it's very interesting because you get and this has never happened to us, but you could get a property for $8 million and sell it for 10 and make $2 million on a 45-minute phone call, right? So it's just it's you're basically you're selling T-shirts or you're selling eggs like Publix, but you're flipping the most expensive product in the world.
Yeah, you're basically doing this sort of same back and forth negotiation, but with a higher ticket product, service offer, but it's land.
Right.
Yeah.
So what has been your biggest close in this deal process?
Over 200.
We've done two. We did one that was 210, one that was 200, one that was 192,
One that was about 160.
160.
Okay.
But
We've hit, I think, 8 or 9 above 6-figure profit.
and then but I will say there's one that really stood out for us because it was almost like kind of game changing for us because we were still going back and forth. We weren't sure if we wanted to try to get into Airbnbs or do different things. About 6 to 8 months in, we moved to Miami at the time. We came straight from we went to Dubai and then Miami, so we came straight from college. We were making
basically everything we were making was basically being spent living in Miami. Just
living expenses went up a lot going from college to Miami.
That's how it always
right? So
is, yeah.
we were doing great for our age, right? Like 40, 50 grand a month consistently, but that's what you're spending living in Miami. So we're almost like deal to live. So we're trying to figure out other things. And I remember we sent out just like a simple mail out campaign in December, just for tax write-offs, right? So I sent like $5 grand in mail outs just so we could write it off. And about 3 weeks later, like a few days after his birthday, one of the mail outs called in. It was in a new place. We never knew about it. And we just put it under contracts. We're like, I think this should be a deal. We called an agent. We ended up making $162,000 between the 4 properties. And after that, we were just like, we need to go all in on this because this could actually be life-changing. So at that point, we kind of stopped everything else we were doing and just committed to it full time.
Okay. I'm hearing all this too, and I'm a bit more familiar with this business model than I think most of the viewers are.
Yeah.
Maybe they're already a bit aware too, but for new people, I think this is a bit something. There's a lot of gaps that I want to be able to fill in with this. So, for you guys, walk me through your day to day, especially in the beginning when you guys were doing this yourselves. Because you didn't have these resources that you're providing now to people.
Yeah.
So, what was your day to day to get these deals done? Cold calling people. How many hours a day were you doing this? And
when we first got started, we kind of figured because it was my last semester and then I was done with university, right? So I'm like, if I don't figure this out right now, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life, right?
Yeah.
So Carson, I'm very blessed to have him. He committed with me when he was 19 years old, which is absolutely insane to do. And you could be in college doing whatever you want. But we were 5 a.m. to midnight every single day for 5, 6, 7 months building this. And we were just every day, if we weren't building the business, we were reading books, we were listening to podcasts, we'd send campaigns in the mornings, we'd be calling from 9 a.m. till 9 p.m. every single day. We'd do market research at night, do it again, go to bed, and just rinse and repeat.
But the actual day-to-day of the business when we got started, and it's the same way we teach people to start out now because it's how we did our first 100 deals is. So now it's a lot different for us, which we'll get into. But how we started is we would literally send out a campaign of about 4,000 to 5,000 text messages. We'd get about a 10% response back. We'd get 400 or 500 messages. We'd go through those every single message and call up the good leads, and then we'd make sure we each sent out 1 contract per day.
Yeah.
And we did that for 3-4 months straight. Made like 100 deals and small deals, whatever it was, $100, $200, whatever we could do. Just reinvested everything back into the business until we did like 100, 150 deals. Then scaled up, got like virtual assistants, started sending mail, started hiring employees, but the beginning of the business was literally sending out our campaigns, responding to the messages, making cold calls, sending contracts, getting them sold, just rinse and repeat.
Okay. And then eventually, Were you putting in the same amount of effort, like when it comes to conversations with people for $200 deals versus $100,000 deals?
That's the crazy thing, and it's something you can't shoot for, because like we've struggled with this, and over the past 3 years, like we've tried to shoot for bigger spreads, or we've tried to adjust the business for that, but you can't. Like the way that we found our bigger deals is from the smaller deals. They own another property, they know somebody else that has it, so it's like we've just always mass marketed. It's always been our approach to get as many deals done as possible, and then from that we get the 6-figure deals, like just from doing everything.
Yeah, that's what probably brings your average up, I would assume. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. Like the mean and the median deal size are two completely different things, because the big deals will always skew it quite a bit, which is why we just try to, we look at the amount of deals we're doing per month, and then we do our books based on quarterly, because if a few closings get pushed into a separate month, it makes one month look bad versus the next one look good, but it's really just, it goes over.
Like also, I'm not sure how familiar people are when people try and like wholesale houses or do house flipping. Like when you're doing that, it's a little bit larger of spreads, but you have 1 or 2 deals throughout the month. If one of them falls through, you could be negative, you could be in the red. If we have 29 deals and 2 of them fall through, we're still gonna be able to pay the rent. It's not anything we have to worry about.
Right.
So that's what's great about this as well.
Dope. Okay, let's talk about a little bit more so how you guys got into taking that risk and being like, now we're going to be the home developers and all this stuff.
This is actually a very
interesting story how we got the first one.
Let's
so
do it.
So we almost got sued for $1 million.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so this last April, we had a deal in South Florida on the water. I had a lot of experience at this point with the luxury development, so I kind of knew what to look for, and I knew it was a good deal. We put the lot under contract for $1 million, and it was probably worth about 1.5. So we were just shopping around for 1.2, 1.3. Just because there wasn't the specific home builder to buy it,
with the more expensive lots, it's harder to sell. Like even though it can be worth that amount, there's not a huge
demand.
To get $1.5 million cash in 3 weeks is kind of hard for a vacant
So
lot.
We had it under contract for 90 days. Day 90 comes up. I call the seller. I'm like, hey, listen, we weren't able to do anything with this property. We're gonna have to go ahead and terminate it. We ended up having a 45, 50-minute, very, very good conversation. We were on great terms. And I'm like, what do you think about me just continuing to shop it around, and then if you get another offer, you want me to terminate it, I'm more than happy to just release you. He's like, yeah, no worries. Again, this was verbal. So I made the mistake of not sending any termination, because if we just send a termination letter, we have absolutely no risk. We did not send that termination letter. So a week later, $1 million lawsuit. He's suing us for $1 million, or you can go to court, which with our contract, we were in the right, but that's...
It was just something we didn't want to do.
We would have went to court for it.
$250,000 earnest money deposit that he technically probably could have won or had a chance to win back.
So at that point, though, I looked to the street to the north, and there was a house that was built in 2021, and it sold for $3.4 million, and it was 2,500 square feet. So I called a developer that I knew down in the area, and I said, hey, listen, how much would it cost you to build that house? And he said 1.2. And I go, could you put that in writing and just show me all the numbers, how much of the window is going to cost, et cetera? So we have this whole spreadsheet. It's going to cost 1.2 to build, $1 million for the lot. You got carry costs, realtors on the back end, 2 closings, et cetera. But just on a 2,500 square foot house, you're able to make $1 million in 12 months, right? So then we underwrote it 100 times. We sat there for a week, barely slept. We were just, what could go wrong? We called every agent in the area. Is this a good deal? We were calling builders, just confirming everything. We then went ahead, raised the money, closed on the lot in 10 days from there, and then we have a 50-50 profit share with the investor on that one. And then from there, we had some of the agents that I was asking if it's a good deal bring us other deals that are luxury in the waterfront.
So then our second one that we got, it was actually listed for $4.5 million. He made an offer at 2.6. We ended up settling at 2.95. So we ended up getting a good deal on the lot.
That's still good.
And that's why when a lot of people are looking too, like, I don't want to lowball somebody, or I don't want to make an offer, and it's like you're not forcing the seller to take the offer. If they take the offer, they want it, right? Don't feel bad offering 2.6 on a $4.5 million lot. That's how we're going to make all of our money on this deal.
That is a crazy cut.
Oh
man. Okay, no. So the first time you guys did that was a bit of a rude awakening in terms of like.
I think it was a blessing in disguise, though. It's almost like we're standing on the edge of the cliff. We just need.
We always wanted to get into real estate development, and he's especially always wanted to do that. That was kind of like, you can go by and see all these houses that you build. It's pretty cool. You can actually see it in person.
Yeah, it's different.
And we never were going to jump over the edge, like he said, until we were forced to. And then now we got the first one, and then we want to do a bunch more from there. So it kind of forced us to get into it. So again, like you said, it's a blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to get something right your first try, as you guys know, right?
Right.
So that's an important lesson, I believe, for all the viewers too, is like, cross your T's and dot your I's when especially when money's involved.
Yeah.
So now I want to go back a little bit more to your past with stuff like this, right? You guys have probably tried other online business models and stuff, right?
Yeah.
How did you guys stumble your way into having the balls to call all these people and just get shot down, rejected so much before you got your first yes? Because so many people are afraid to cold call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say it's just honestly, there's nothing to worry about, right? Like you're through a phone, there's nothing to worry about. And a lot of people say, how do you guys work all day? And I say this all the time, as I say, we try to make money all day. There's people outside in the 120-degree Phoenix heat building roofs. That's work. We just touch a few buttons on our phone and make millions of dollars. Like, we don't work. So that's what the biggest thing is. Like, if you're scared to make a cold call, like, this isn't for you anyways, realistically. And a lot of times, like, it's just being consistent at one thing over and over again. And I really think anyone can be successful doing most things that they want to do. And we have, like, a good example of this is we have students, and this is a question I get quite a bit. And they're like, how are you so good on the phones? This is my first day cold calling and no one said yes yet. And I'm like, well, I'm probably made 100, but I'm just going to say average 50 cold calls over the last 3 years, right? I'm like, we've made 50,000 cold calls. You've made 7. Yeah. Obviously, I'm better. Like, I wasn't born a good cold caller. It's just doing one thing over and over again consistently.
Yeah, that's so funny you said that. You know, back when I was like 20 years old, I was doing like a cold calling for SMMA because I just wanted to try it.
Yeah.
I was calling med spas all over the United States. Bro, I was shitting my pants. I was like, how am I supposed to do this? I feel weird talking to the front desk receptionist. 9 times out of 10, they would just shoot me down.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, well, I'm just going to stick to mass outbound email. But you guys stuck with this. And you mentioned you have students inside your program. What are some of the most common questions you get from your students when it comes to this model?
Once they're already in or before?
Let's start with before and then once they're in.
Biggest question I think before is like, is it going to be oversaturated? How many people can actually do this? There's 30 million lots in the United States. There was 60,000 lot sales in Florida alone last year. So, and again,
there's 32,000 buildings.
Most people watching this has never heard of the business model, right? So it's very untapped. That's the first thing. Second thing is, how do you find the builders? And the builders is by far the easiest part of the whole thing. Is selling these properties we're selling assets at less than market value, right? Like if you get a $10,000 Rolex for $5,000, you're gonna make money on it.
And not only that, if they're working with us, we'll just buy it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. Too. So, then once they're in, just kind of how long until like you actually make deals, stuff like that. We've had students that haven't even signed up for any like marketing or anything. They should they watch the videos like, I'm just gonna cold call people
for free.
And this guy Jan, it's like my favorite like testimony we've ever had, because his first day he just watched some of the videos, started just looking up people's phone numbers on Google, and he just made a $6,000 deal on his first day.
Got paid out within 3 weeks of joining.
Really?
So normally it would take like 2 or 3 weeks for a deal to close. So like a week learning curve, a week to send your campaigns, get a deal signed, and then 3 weeks to close. I'll typically say 30 to 45 days for somebody to get paid. He got paid within 3 weeks, spending $0 in marketing. So it's pretty insane.
He was just like brute forcing it.
Yeah.
Okay. What is like for somebody that is like in your program right now doing well, what is their day-to-day like?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So our first ever student, before we ever had a program or anything, he reached out when he was in high school, and he started buying just one-on-one mentorship calls from us on Zoom for a year basically. And he works 20 hours a day, like has for the last 2 years. He's an absolute animal. He's doing $100,000 profit every single month right now, and he has been just with himself and his team. His day-to-day is just he wakes up, he sends his campaigns, he does cold calls all day, and then he sells what he has in his inventory, and that's basically all there is to it.
Wow. How many people he got working with him?
He has 4 in his team now.
I think he has 4 in his team.
Okay, so it's still pretty lean.
And he's way younger than me. He's 20.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he actually he dropped out, moved out to Arizona.
Oh shit.
So yeah, we have like he'll come over like to the office. We'll make cold calls and stuff like.
Make content and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Very nice. Very nice. What is your guys' goals in terms of like? Obviously, you want to scale up what you're doing right now, but when it comes down to like long-term properties, you mentioned luxury properties and stuff like this. Is that the main vision?
We very much enjoy the luxury development. We would probably end up doing at some point some sort of software or other business that would just be a long-term play that would be a long time to develop and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. And
we also like making deals. So like last year, between our company, we did 239 transactions. We want to do over 1,000, and the only way we can do that is partnering with our students. So we want to do as many deals with our students as possible, help them sell them. They bring deals, we bring deals to them, they help them sell us, and we've been doing that, and that's the goal too. We want to do 1,000. 1,000 deals a year with our students at least, and do the development and do the.
We'll never stop our land business. Like it's just like a fun aspect about it. Just getting a contract signed on the phone, selling the deal. Like even if there's much higher leverage things, like we make cold calls every single day.
Okay.
So,
and I misheard this or missed it. What is say you call me today and I'm a builder or something like this, and you want to get the deal done, and you want to get paid out. say for example, I said yes today. What is that not overhead, but what does that time process look like until you see that wire?
So this is, I already have the seller under contract and I call you and you say yes?
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, it's just they need the title search to come back. So a title company, all they make sure that no one's scamming each other. So it's just like an escrow company that holds the money and then they transfer the title.
And first things first, so we get the builder under contract with us. So we have the seller under, because everyone asked this another question is, how do you guys not get cut out? Why don't they just cut you out? Why are they going to pay you out of 10 grand difference, right? Why don't they just they're getting the same lot, you're just in the middle, right? So we get the builder under contract with us, and our contracts we cannot be cut out. They have to pay us out. They're getting our contract with the builders directly with us. So our company is JW Light Homes. JW Light Homes is the seller on that contract. So we have JW Light Homes and the builder, and then we have a contract with the seller to JW Light Homes, and that's assignable. So this is how we do the whole process is we get that contract with the seller that we can then assign, and we have the rights to do that. So we get the seller under contract. They can't cut us out. If they try to cut us out, we can file a memorandum, and they can never sell the property without our permission because it's a legally binding contract, so they can never cut us out ever. And if they do, they're still going to have to pay us out. So we get that signed. We get the builder signed. They can never cut us out.
But to answer your question, once everyone's both on their contract, it takes anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how long the builder needs.
Yeah.
Like if they need to do an inspection, it's actually like the only thing they look for, like you know how if you get a house, they look at the roof and all this stuff. It's very weird. They look for like protected wildlife. Like the biggest headache are turtles. These gopher turtles. The turtles are $8,000 per turtle to remove, and some of these lots will have 6 of them.
Everyone thinks it's a joke when we're talking about this, and we're like, no, turtles are actually a pain in the ass. Like, it's ridiculous.
They're like, well, why don't you just go out and move them? Like you'll go to jail. Like you have to put them in a government sanctuary, and then the sanctuaries are full. So not only is it expensive, you have to wait 6 months for your permit. Then they take it to the sanctuary. Then it's $8,000 per turtle.
There'll be a $40,000 lot in Florida that has 4 turtles on it, and it's worthless.
Yeah.
Bro, what?
So that's the only inspection and you don't do the inspection, the builder does. So
Yeah.
they just send a guy out there when they're under contract.
That's super random.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Would you guys say you do most of your deals in Florida?
About 60%.
We do a lot of our deals in Florida just because we started and we were from there, so that's what we've done. We've done 15 states. We have a student that's crushing it in Hawaii right now. That's another question. Is, can you do this in other states? We have a student crushing it in Hawaii right now. Like, and it's a great market.
I'd say Florida's a big volume play for us, so we probably will consistently do 15 to 20 deals a month.
And that's where we want to develop
forever.
So that's why we're looking for deals.
But the big deals are elsewhere. So
Okay. You mentioned too a moment ago. Damn, I forget what you said, but it was kind of funny. Let's go back to this turtle and owl thing, right? Like, how common is that for these properties in Florida?
2%. Like we probably ran into 10 of them over the years
Okay.
on our lot, so it's not often, but it happens.
Imagine you just get cucked by a turtle.
We've had it happen all the time. We've lost tons of money.
Yeah.
We've probably lost close to $500,000 off turtles and owls.
Yeah.
I like this conversation too, just because like my long-term vision is real estate too, specifically luxury real estate. So I like picking your guys' mind and just getting to learn the ins and outs of this. Oh, I remember I was going to ask you what you said. You guys keep mentioning like these contracts and stuff like this, and when somebody hears that, they're kind of like, "Well, I don't know how to do any of that." Like it's kind of intimidating. Do you guys provide that as a resource?
Oh, absolutely. It's everything. It's basically like any of our students just take our business and they're the ones that make the calls instead of us. Like it's every resource, everything like that. But a lot of people are scared of the word contract. We spent a lot of money with attorneys to make sure it's the simplest thing ever. It's like risk, 10 lines, it's 1 page.
You never do any money. You can always back out. And again, like I said, when you're under contract, you can never get cut out, but you can always back out. All the leverage is on yourself with these contracts. So you're never, like people that get so scared about contracts and stuff, you're not at risk with anything.
Yeah, so it's also 1 page. Like you can read the whole thing in 30 seconds, and you just click a button on DocuSign. It automatically sends. You click sign, and you're done.
And like you were saying, I was going to make this point when you're talking about cold calling, and people are like, how do you get people to sell you their property that they've owned for however long? It's like, have you called and tried? Like, just call them and ask. Just call them and ask if you can buy their property. I guarantee you one of them's going to say yes.
Yeah.
Call 1,000 of them.
Yeah, especially at that volume.
Yeah.
It's like you need what? A couple people to say yes a month?
One deal a month.
Is
to be making over $100,000 a year.
Which is crazy because we just teach our students to send 50,000 texts. So it's like
what are the odds you can't get one?
You can have 49,999 people tell you no and still make $100,000, right? Like it really is not that difficult. Just no one take it. It's I'm not gonna say it's easy, but it's super simple. It's like anyone that has done it in our program has made a deal within 2 months that sends that amount of text.
Mm-hmm. So as long as they're putting in that work and that time, I don't want to say it's guaranteed, but it's pretty much like something's going to come your way type thing.
And it's not even really putting in that work. Like we're saying send the text. We're not actually the ones sending the text.
You
have
just
an
press a
auto
button.
clicker that sits there and clicks them for you, and then you respond to the 20, 30, 40, 100 texts that come back.
Yeah, because you have call it a 10% response rate. So you send 5,000 texts, you have 500 come back in, and then we have it set up so it automatically deletes the people that aren't interested. So if they say not interested, too low, we have like 100 different things, so it automatically just deletes them. So you'll take a list of 5,000 and you'll get back 150 interested leads. You don't even have to call these people. You just sit there and text them on the app, and within 30 minutes you can get through a whole campaign.
Interesting. Okay, that's good for running volume, because that's like one of the things people are like, how am I going to text people all day?
No, it's not possible.
Yeah, exactly. Then I also want to go more into your story now, since we've talked so much about the model right now. Like, what is your upbringing in terms of building this mindset to not quit? Because you mentioned you were at a point where like it was your last semester, you were down bad, like didn't have much money. You were like 18, 19 at the time. What made you guys come together and really just be like, we need to make something happen?
Yeah, so I would say like just growing up, like our whole entire life, we've been super close. I'd say that's the absolute biggest advantage we could have ever had, is each other. We grew up though, like I think we have the best parents in the world. They were always very like, always making sure we were always working. So I was 5 years old, same thing with him, is we always had a job, and we would always have like a sport, right? So it's like every single day we'd be 5 a.m. we'd have training, and then we'd have school, and then you'd go to football practice, and then you do your homework and you go to bed, right? So nothing's changed now. It's just we get up early, we go to the gym, we work on our business all day, and we go to bed, right? So it's just like our whole life we've just been work and exercise, and that's basically, there's no reason to, we never were really video games or going out.
Like we got to the point with our mindset where we're like, what do we want with our life? We want to be healthy. We want to be able to take care of the people that we love and hang out with our family and have our own time and live an exceptional life, whether that's being able to go on vacations, drive the cars that we want to drive, have money to go spend on dinners and things like that. How are we going to get there? Work and work out. That's the only thing. And we realize the only things that matter is to be able to do all those other things. How do we do that? We need to get money. We need to be in shape. Work and work out, and that's all we've cared about over the past 3 years, and that's, I think, what we've gotten to work.
Yeah, we were no social media for a long time. I didn't watch a TV show for 2. And I'm not saying everyone has to do this. You don't have to do this the rest of your life, but it's
still
like
don't watch TV.
You need that hard sprint of 6 months where it's like, I'm gonna go all in on everything. And there comes a time like now we don't have to work as much on that business as we once did, and it's just gonna print money for the rest of our life, right?
Yep.
But now we're focused on other things. Otherwise, we could take a sit back right now and just like
cruise.
Yeah, and just appreciate what we've built, but we want to do other things. Right. And then something else that's been like major in our life, like absolutely huge, was since I was about 10 years old, you were like 7 or 8, we've done a lot of work with the Kids Cancer Foundation in West Palm Beach.
That's awesome.
So like a percentage of all profits go to them. We started this actually in college before we ever made $1. We would like rent out a club down there and just tell them like, hey, listen, like you guys aren't open on this night, I'll pay for your staff and I'll make you guys in the newspaper, like I'll make you guys look really good, and we're gonna go ahead and have this event here. So we'd go raise a bunch of money, and then we would buy 400 kids with cancer Christmas presents for their like breakfast with Santa every December.
That's
so
awesome, man.
That's been like just very eye-opening to the fact of like, one, we want to just try to do absolutely everything we can in this life because you never know how long you have, but also it's like we never get upset about anything. We have a flat tire, we pimple, like all this stuff that these people complain about, like, it doesn't matter. Like these people are having actual like serious hard times in their life.
Yeah.
And
it puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's like a big like mindset thing almost for us, is we don't get upset about anything. As long as we're healthy, our family's healthy, everyone we care about's healthy, nothing else really matters.
That's awesome. It sounds like you guys have just been brought up being disciplined, right? And that's just been ingrained in you to work, improve yourself, and repeat every single day.
Right.
I think that's actually pretty rare, especially for our generation. You know, we're the same age. You're a couple years younger than us. I feel like at least most of the guys, even that I'm still close with, don't have that inner drive and that inner discipline to really push.
Or even if they do, they get to a certain point and then stop.
Yeah.
With a lot of people.
Exactly. They'll stop around like 50, 60K a month.
Right.
It's like, oh, I'm good. I can do whatever now.
Yeah.
So you also said a minute ago, like, you were pretty much like always showing up, especially in the beginning, just like for 6. You said people need to lock in for like 6 months.
Yeah, I
straight.
think you definitely need like a sprint. Like,
Yeah.
Like
And then it gets a lot easier after that.
That's how it was for me. So I had money in crypto, which was like a stash, but I had like no like crazy active income coming in. So I was like, all right, well, I need to figure something out type thing. And this is going back now over like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, but it's 6 to 8 months, at least for me personally, where I was just like every single day knocking down cold brews on my laptop, just like barely hanging out with a lot of people. And
I would argue that's just as fun as it is now, being able to like
Yeah.
do things and not have to work as much. But I would argue that the sprint is almost just as much fun as.
I think it is as well. I think the only thing is a state of constriction.
Yeah,
Right.
you have a lot more stress.
Yes, it's just more stressful. Like now, I'll still do that. I'll go to Starbucks, I'll go to Press, get coffee. But now I know like, oh, this thing's actually working. I can actually do this. And it feels like my time's being used a lot more in a high leverage way, which is exactly what you guys are saying now. So going back to this model specifically, at what point per month were you guys at where you were deciding to build out a team for yourself?
We did. So March of 2023, this was right after we hit that big deal.
Yeah.
There was a few more decent deals that we hit. So just him and I alone did. So this is actually, our goal was to do $300,000 in profit. We did.
For the year?
No, for the
March.
month. And
okay.
We did 299, like 400. But we actually did 300, and like 3 months later, we had like 32 closings that month. So I didn't even know. Title company calls me, hey, I've had this check with I've had your check with this name on it, with your name on it for 4 months. So that month we did $300,000 in net profit. We were doing like on average at that time like 1 to 150, and then at that point we actually, it's kind of funny, we took our couches out of our living room in Miami. We had like one of those Miami penthouses that everyone says, and we had like 10, 13 people working out of our Miami place, cold calling. Like
really?
We had all the deals on the whiteboard. So we did that for a little while. Realized that we didn't know much. We knew how to make money. We knew how to make deals. We didn't know much about business. We didn't know how to build systems, softwares, trainings. Like we were hiring these people and then one-on-one training them. It's like, oh, it doesn't work out. Then you have to restart.
Bro,
right? So we had no trainings, no modules, no system. So at that point, we're like, one, we didn't love Miami. Two, we were like, we're not ready for this. Cleaned house. At that point, again, it was Carson and myself. We actually moved to Austin, Texas.
Super random.
Yeah. I don't like or dislike it. It was a cool place. But at that point, we like sat down for 6-8 months and we actually built out all of our systems, all of our softwares. We rebuilt our whole entire CRM to now we could handle a team, hired our executive assistant, hired acquisition managers. And then from there, 2024 was a pretty big year for us.
A bit of a breakthrough year, it sounds like.
Yeah, it was good.
That whole story, my main takeaway of that is like, you guys were just full sending it without even having like the right systems, quote unquote. And I think that's such a big thing for people to like not start something. They're like, I don't have the right systems. I don't know exactly how to fulfill on certain things. Like you figure things out along the way.
Just by doing it.
Well,
Exactly.
even now, like this is a big thing that I talk about with every single one of my students is like, stop trying to get so cute with everything and focus on the basics before the specifics. Is you guys are sitting here, you guys spend a month building out your CRM and your website, and Carson and I did 100 deals and $400,000 in profit off of pen, paper, and notepad.
And they'll be like, oh, my KPIs dropped on my texting. I got 11% response instead of 12 today. And I'm like, well, if you didn't sit there focusing on your KPIs and you actually made your 100 calls, you would have made a deal rather than sitting there and looking at the numbers that don't matter.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
a
just
lot of
focusing
people
on the
just
right
look at the
things.
cute stuff and, oh, is my name okay and my logo and this. And it's like, just pick the phone up, make some money, and then you can figure everything out on the back end. Like we were very unorganized for a very long time, and it doesn't matter. Like you can still hit $100,000 deal if you don't have a website.
Exactly.
Right? So.
And even if you lose the few deals that you wouldn't have if you were organized, we still made way more because we were just working on
Pumping
the
out the
actual
battery.
things that mattered.
Exactly. That's a massive thing. It's like still today, it's like people will put their time and energy in the wrong place.
Yeah.
And say, bro, what are you doing sitting on Canva making a logo instead of even getting your first deal?
That's why it's like I'm working so hard and it's like you're not making any money. You're just working.
Yeah.
I guess if you enjoy just working to not make money, then do it. But what's the point?
Yeah, it's not going to last very long.
No.
Yeah. So.
Okay, then let's go into that first month where you said you had $72 in your bank account, give or take. What was it like closing that first deal for you guys?
It was pretty surreal. So the first one was actually like, first wire was like $1,100, and I had like $4,500 in credit card debt
ran
from
all
softwares,
expenses up on a credit
which we figured out you don't have to do now. But again, we had no mentor. We were learning everything, so we were using a bunch of bad softwares and stuff. So over 2 months, I ran up $4,500 on an Amex.
Were you using? Oh, okay. I was going to ask, were you using business credit or personal credit?
Business.
It was business. Yeah.
Was that 0% APR? Like business funded?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were good because it was still paid off in time and stuff. But
Okay.
like, it was ran up, and I did not have the money in my account when we were doing so. So at that point, again, $1,100 deal. Obviously, didn't even pay off the debt, but it was just the proof of concept was like, wait, this can be a real thing. Oh, the next like Friday, we had like 6 closings and like $40,000 in wires.
Oh wow!
But it was the same builder. So like just thinking, and I'm like, what if this isn't legit? What if this builder's not real? What if he doesn't follow through? That day, he sent all the money. We got the money, and we were like, this is very almost life changing, right? Because at
Oh,
that point,
man,
we've never made 40 grand combined in a year, and we just did it in a day, right? So then over that summer, we stacked up about $100,000, and then completely other story, but we bought an Airbnb arbitrage program because we didn't think this was a real business. So we're like, let's go start doing Airbnbs.
It's just like the shiny object. We wanted to do other things. We're going to do multiple
Like,
businesses.
Lost our first 100 very quickly with that. That business model is, I'm not going to talk too badly on it, but people don't realize you have to do first, last, security deposit. A lot of times you have to buy furniture.
Interior design.
And you're not going to lock it in for 2 years because what if it doesn't work? But you don't get any bookings till you're a super host. So you're going to have to eat 3 months of rent. And it's like, you do it perfectly great, you'll cash flow $800 a month.
Yeah, it's not really worth your time and energy.
Right. So
wow, so you went from being in debt essentially to having that 40K hit, stacking 100, and still feeling like the business model was not stable in a way.
And at this point too, it was important too because this was like August, September, and this is when this was my sophomore year of college, and I was planning on dropping out in December. My whole family, friends, everybody's super against all that, very by the book. Like my dad worked his way all the way up to whatever he did, and they always wanted us to go to college, get a degree and everything like that. So I had to make the decision in December or November actually if I was going to drop out or not when I was 19. And again, we just lost almost all of our money in Airbnb arbitrage, and we're like, if we have a certain amount of money, then we're going to be able to drop out. And in October, right before November, we had like $60,000 worth of closings in this 1 week. And again, we didn't have much money at the time. All of these deals were in the same area. A Category 4 hurricane hits Southwest Florida.
Shuts the title
company down. This one investor that was going to purchase all of them, we didn't hear from him for a month.
And every contract was invalid.
Every contract was invalid.
And he was going to lose money on every lot.
He was going to lose money on every lot if he purchased them. He comes back the next day, closes on every single lot. We get paid. I drop out, and to this day, we've probably done $3 million worth of revenue with him, and he's like one of our best friends.
Talk to him every single day.
Talk to him every single day, and literally without that, I wouldn't have been able to drop out. I don't know if we'd be working together.
Yeah.
Like that was a huge piece.
That's
of
a crazy story.
Yeah.
Bro, I was gonna say like when it rains it pours, but it still worked out.
It worked out. Like thank goodness everything worked out. But yeah, that was really scary.
I bet. Yeah, you've taken that risk right there. Like, shit, we just ran this up. It's past summer now. We're cooked. I'm supposed to drop out now.
Yeah.
And then that happened. So okay, that's actually kind of a cool thing. So you guys are doing so much, buying so much, and transacting so much that you're starting to build relationships with builders.
Oh, we have very good relationships.
Builders, investors, foreign investors. We have these connections that are in like China, Colombia, all over the place that are buying lots, buying real estate, and doing a bunch of cool stuff. That's what's cool is you're meeting the sellers, buyers, all these different types of people with this too.
Big time players too. Like you'll talk to anywhere from like massive home builders that are just national. They do all 50 states, and you'll talk to people that do 10 houses a year, right? And they're equally as good to work with, but it's just different connections in every place, and they all have land acquisition managers. So if you do a deal with one of them, you say, who else do you got? They'll send you a list of 100 people in different zip codes that you can work with.
So kind of like referrals in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
What do you think has been the biggest takeaway since you guys have gotten to where you're at right now with this model? Like in terms of like, I know it's kind of broad, but like your biggest takeaway when it comes down to speaking with people in a business sense?
I mean, you just need to know, like, say it confidently and know what you're talking about. Like, we'll have the same conversation with the seller as one of our students or somebody else trying to do this will. But when I make the offer and I say, hey, I can give you $14,000 for this property, and they have the same conversation, but they're like, I think I can give you like, I don't know, I'm looking around the area, maybe like 13.5. And it's like, when you're speaking confidently and you know what you're talking about, that's why you need to study it and understand it before you make the calls. And that's where you're going to make the deals. All of our deals have come from they trust us and they like what we're saying on the phone rather than not speaking to a virtual assistant when they're talking to them or speaking to somebody that doesn't know what they're talking about. Just being confident and knowing what you're talking about is where all of our deals have come from.
Yeah, I also think like you have to zoom out just from like a business perspective and say like, does this make sense for the other person? And you would be shocked some of the things I hear people say to the point where it's like, oh, well, I sent this lot to a builder at 80,000 and the lot next door is listed for 75. And I'm like, why would they not just buy the lot for 75? Why would they buy yours for 80? And they're like, well, that's what they're looking for. And I'm like, well, why would they not buy it? So you just have to understand, like, okay, cool. If I call them and I say, hey, you can have this one for 65, the cheapest listing 75, they save 10 grand. That's why they're going to work with you. Or we'll have people, I'll give you an example of this. Is there something called a joint venture deal? So a joint venture deal means like I have a seller under contract, you have a different business, but you have a builder, right? So we can share, I share the seller with your builder, we go 50-50 on the deal or whatever we decide. So I had this contract at 60,000. I had a buyer at 70,000. There was another wholesaler that had a buyer at 74,000, right? So I go, okay, cool. I'll give you $3 grand. He goes, no, I only do 50-50. I go, well, I can make $10,000 or I could partner with you and we could each make 7. I'm going to make my 10 or I'll give you $3,000 and I'll make 11.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I only do 50-50. So he left $4,000 on the table, 3,000 for himself, 1,000 for us, just because he's by the book. You know what I mean? But you have to understand both parties have to be helped, and that's just good business practice. And a lot of people don't understand that.
Yeah, I think if I were to sum your guys' examples and situations up, it's more so it's like you need to understand the business in and out before you even look to outsource.
100%. And do the right thing, even if it costs you a little bit of money. Like any builder that we've worked with loves to work with us, and they always will, because we've given them discounts. They've given us discounts when the market gets tough and stuff like that. And building the relationships is so much more than making a ton of money on one deal, right? You don't want to rip somebody off on one deal. You're not building a business. You're not building connections. You're not going to build up something that's going to run for a long time, right? Like, we've given up, like, on the same deal, if they're like, look, I need to be at 95,000, you know it's worth every bit of 100, but you know that this is a good connection, you're going to work with them, and you respect what they've done with you. They're going to work with us 50, 60, 70 more times over the year. They're not going to work with somebody else because they want an extra $5,000. Okay, you just made your extra $5,000 on the front end. We just made 500 throughout the year.
Yeah. Exactly.
And understanding that, and we've always understood that and always done good business, and that's why when we talk to these sellers, we actually mean it too. We're not lying to them about anything. We're very honest, and we say, look, I can give you this price, and we're confident about that because we're trying everything we can do with our buyers, with our connections, and we've always done the right price and not given it up for the quick buck, always.
100%. Like, even in my stuff too, dealing with people, most of my deals I close just over DMs or just over text.
Yeah.
And if like somebody's coming to me like through referral, obviously I'm gonna hook them up.
Right.
Because guess what? They're gonna then bring me more people.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's just like always building the relationships. That's like my motto is like relationships over money.
Yeah.
Because like you can go make money whenever and however, but if you go
it almost when you're helping other people, it almost comes on accident.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. And like it's one thing to do the right thing essentially, or just burn a relationship. Like imagine I fucked you guys over.
Yeah.
Say, oh well, now I was gonna be kind of weird talking with all of your friends who are my friends, and it's just like, bro, there's no point to do anything like that.
And with most of those examples too, it's not like you're being an idiot and selling something for like half price or doing something for you're not making any money, you're losing money on it. It's like, no, you're just giving up a little bit to work with somebody long term. You're not gonna go bankrupt because you lost a little bit of money on one deal. Like,
right.
Yeah, like that one guy, that builder, you guys have been running, you said a few million just through that one guy, right?
He's made us millions, and we've also made him millions. Because what we would do in the beginning, so that we do this with our students a lot now, is so we found him, and he goes, hey, listen, you guys are getting great deals right now. You guys are college students. You don't have the money to dish it out. He goes, you get a lot that's worth $20,000, and there's no builder in the area. He goes, you get that lot at $10,000, give it to me for 14. I'll buy it and I'll close in 7 days, and then I'm going to relist it and make 15 to 20% on the back end. So he said, you know what, let's go, right? So we did hundreds of deals with him as we stacked up our money a little bit, but we'd get the lot at $100,000, give it to him for 115, he'd sell it for 140, right? But he would close on it in 7 days, so I could tell the sellers, hey, I'll close in 7 days, I'll put up hard money. And that was just our negotiation with the seller, and then we just flip him all the deals. So now we're doing that essentially with a lot of our students as well, and the ones we aren't building on is like, hey, listen, if you guys don't have money and you have a good deal and you don't have a buyer, we're not going to give you 100% of market value, but you can still make some money as long as I can make 15, 20%.
Because like the example with that $1.5 million lot, we couldn't find anyone to sell it, right? Even though it was worth that. It's the same thing as we'll close in a week. We'll actually buy it even though it's at 75, 80% of market value, but you don't have anybody at 100. We'll buy it, we'll list it, we'll wait 6-9 months, we'll make our 20%, you make your assignment fee, everybody's happy.
Mm-hmm. And I think something too, it's kind of random, but it might be a limiting belief or a lack of knowledge for people watching. It's like you guys are putting up none of your money up front.
No.
Nothing.
So like y'all are just connecting the right people, making your spread.
100%.
Where do you see the future of this model going in the future? Do you see
It's been around for 30, 40 years. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
It just,
That's what I think too.
Marketing changes a little bit. So like 30 years ago, people would go to the county tax office and they'd mail people letters. Mm-hmm. Now mail's still big. Like 2023 mail was a huge year for us. Right now text is crushing. Cold call is always good, but like it just switches. Like what marketing does good is the only thing that kind of changes.
Yeah, it just evolves.
Yeah, exactly. But we've flipped the same lot twice before. Like it never goes away. There's just so much volume of it that it's not going anywhere.
Wow, you've done the same lot twice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. Because that was one of my thoughts too when I was going through your funnel. I was like, how many properties can this actually? How many properties can somebody actually do to make a lot of money with this? Because like if I were to do this, I'm like, well, I'm gonna go for the mid 5 to 6 figure months doing this. So how sustainable is that, right?
Yeah.
But when you go and say all these properties and all this land's for sale every year, it's
I will say it's very. it was very hard for us to get to the consistent where no matter what, every month we're doing six figures, because there are huge deals and there are big deals and medium deals that kind of skew everything. But even like it took us like 2 years to get to the point where even if we have absolutely no big deals, we're still doing 100,000 a month. So there was times in October we did 532,000 in profit, but the month before we did like 45, right? And it's not like it was a good or a bad.
Because the closing
Yeah,
dates get pushed back, or
this past October.
Okay.
So I think it's very sustainable to where you're doing anywhere from like 30 to 130 a month within your first 6 months. Because to say you're going to do the same thing every month is just, it's not the business model. It's not like it's a
I come from like the MRR background.
It's not like an MRR. It's just going to keep going up.
that's
It's just like,
it's so different from any other model in almost every other aspect.
Yeah.
That's one of the things too, is like coming from that world and scaling that. It's like I have predictable income with that, right? And then I talk and sit down with my friends who does wholesale. He's like, oh, you said this earlier this pod. You're like, oh, if you have 2 closings and one falls through, you're cooked.
Yeah.
And that's what happened to him. And I was like, bro, I'm not trying to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's why with these land deals, like even if you're doing $2,000-$3,000 per deal, you line up 10 of them throughout the month. Again, you have nothing to worry about, and it's kind of consistent a little bit more when you know you have 15 deals lined up in your next month. It's every other day you have a closing. It's kind of a lot more consistent than kind of any other form of real estate that you get into. I've tried to say this before, and it's if you're a real estate agent, you have maybe a closing every couple months. If you're doing Section 8s, I mean, you need hundreds of them to make money. If you have short-term rentals, you're not making money. There's really no other form in real estate other than flipping houses, which takes 3 to 6 months to flip a house, or wholesaling houses. Again, like you said, one falls through, you're cooked. You can line up 15, 20 closings in a month. You're having consistent income. You're getting paid every couple of days with this.
Right.
So this is really the only form of real estate where you can be making consistent income and be confident that you have closings lined up and you're going to get paid every couple of days, that you really can't do with anything else in real estate.
Mm-hmm. How many people are you helping like one-on-one right now? Just like basically go from beginner stage to, like you say, maybe 30 to 50K plus.
So we spent about, again, 2.5 years building out training programs for our own team. So then we took that when we decided we're going to make this program. We have the whole training program. It's like 20 hours of film, all the templates, every previous coaching call, all of my trainings with my teams over
Every
the year.
software we use.
Every software we
contracts.
use. Deal submission to submit deals to us. It's everything A to Z you need. And then we do 2 coaching calls a week with everybody on them. And then our actual inner circle gets just like Zoom calls. But we do very little one-on-one coaching anymore. As if we have some free time, I'll drop in there like, hey, listen, if someone wants to jump on a call, like you've been crushing it, let's get on a one-on-one. But we have a lot of things going on to where getting on one-on-one calls.
But our inner circle is very selective.
Yeah.
So we'll do Zoom calls with the inner circle right now. I believe there's only 12 people in there.
Yeah, we only take on 5 a month.
So
So our thing with
we're
that
keeping
is
that very selective.
full transparency is we're not going to talk about pricing or anything, but I don't care if we have 1 million followers. We're only taking 5 people a month. We're just going to keep doubling the price.
Everybody that's been in the inner circle for over 3 weeks has made a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And there's somebody that got started about 45 days ago who's doing 30K a month.
Yeah.
How old are they?
He's, I believe,
25?
20. He's mid-20s.
That's dope.
Yeah.
He came
He
from-
had no real estate knowledge whatsoever. He was doing IT.
You spoke to him in December. He had a tech job. He was doing pretty well. He was making like 120 grand a year. He's like, I really want to get this to 20, 30K a month. We talked to him a month and a half
And I'm
later.
like, dude, you're going to do much more than that. He didn't believe me. You can see it. We just posted it on YouTube. I did an interview with him, and I'm like, how much realistically do you think you're going to make within the next month or two? He's like 70, 80K a month profit every month, no matter what. And I'm like, and you actually believe that? And he's like, yes. And I do too. And I'm like, this is what I told you 45 days ago, but you didn't believe me then. I'm like, what do you think now? And it was pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, the transformation, and just
Within a
shifting,
month.
basically breaking his beliefs and reinstating them. Like, oh, this shit actually works.
And he's ripping Hawaii right now.
Yeah,
which is
he'll make 37,000 this month.
Dope. And what is it? Just him or a team?
It's just him.
Just him. And he's partnering with someone else in the program. They're doing a lot of joint venture deals together.
So like
which is cool.
the other guy will
That
have
is
the
dope.
buyers. So they just like, so honestly, he's making 37. Cole's probably making 20 also.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's actually kind of cool too. Is like collabing with other guys.
Yeah, no, 'cause
Everyone
like,
in there
even
is
like
like-
if someone doesn't want to spend money on marketing, okay, go find the builders for someone else. So they'll spend the money on the marketing. They bring the deals. You split it with them. You're both making money.
Right.
Which we didn't even think of when we made the program
Yeah.
originally, but now we've been seeing everybody working together and doing deals, which is
That's
pretty cool.
dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've never seen that in like any other program where you can kind of like collab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you do one thing, I do the other, we get it done type of thing.
Yep.
But I know we got a few minutes left here. Is there anything you guys want to just like go off about? Like, I don't know, some insight, some sort of takeaway you guys have learned along your journey? Because you guys are young too, crushing it. Now you guys are pretty new to the online space, at least for social media.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything at all or no?
I mean, I think the biggest thing, and it's just something that I've seen with all of our students, and I just with the whole entire world, is people just don't believe in themselves and that it's possible, which we didn't either. Like, we didn't think anything that we've been able to do. Well, we always knew we were going to do something, but to this extent, this quickly, I didn't know it was this possible. And now our goals, no one would even believe, because I genuinely think anyone can do anything if you live in the United States and you have 2 arms, 2 legs, and can speak. But I think a lot of people think this is impossible and it's not that easy. And there's 14-year-olds making $10 million with crypto, right? Like, I'm not saying do that, but just it's
an example.
You got to stop looking at everything like on such it's not 60 years ago, and there's so much more possible today with technology and online businesses, and to where if you really just commit to one thing and like work at something, I think anyone can do a lot of money, work for themselves. And I think a lot of people just don't have that mindset.
Yeah, and like you said, like 2.5 years ago, we had combined like $80 in our account.
Yeah.
And now like we're able to live in a 9,000 square foot house. We're picking up our 3rd car today, which is our dream car probably, right after this podcast.
Can I say what it is or not?
And
yeah,
you can say it's a Ferrari F8.
Oh, let's go. What color?
White with red interior.
Ooh,
pretty sick.
That's hard.
So yeah, so like just everything that we've been able to accomplish, and again, this is within 2.5 years. It doesn't take that long. Like, and that's right out of college, not having much business experience whatsoever, never starting an LLC. And like again, if someone would have told us this 2.5 years ago, you can do everything this quickly, I wouldn't have believed them. But it is possible. We've seen 20, 30, 40. We know 20, 30, 40 other people that have done it. Like, just pick what you're going to do, stick to it, and stick to it for a year or two, and I guarantee you're going to be so much further than you ever thought you even could, and living your dream life.
You know, I saw one of my friends post on his Instagram story yesterday. He was like, we often overestimate what we can do in 1 year, but often underestimate what we can do in 5 years.
Yeah. No.
And I was like, damn, that shit is so facts.
Well, it's also exciting too, because people will think of like these jumps as it's going to take like a decade. It's going to take 10 years to get to this point, 10 years to get to that point. That's how the normal person thinks. We think of things and like, if it doesn't get done in the next couple months, like I'm not happy. I'm pissed. So it's like we speed up this timeline and we try and work as hard and efficiently as possible to get everything done within a year. And we've doubled our income year over year at least. Yeah. And we think of things in such smaller terms, which I think everybody should, is like try to get it done as fast as possible. And then you'll look back in 5 years and be like, whoa, holy shit, I just accomplished 20 years of growth in a year because I worked so hard throughout the entire year.
Yeah.
And stuck to one thing.
Yeah. And this is something too I've heard from even older guys that I know and talk to as well. I'm curious to see what you guys think. They're always like, you guys, well, when they say you guys, like talking to me and like people my age, us, our age, they're like, you guys are not going to have the amount of energy that you have right now when you're my age, like 30
and
plus.
No liabilities. You don't have a wife. You don't have kids. For most people that are in, at least if they're our age and whatnot, you don't have a wife. You don't have kids. You don't have all this stuff you have to worry about. But for most of these people, you don't have any, your family members you're not taking care of. Some people are, but again, like this is the time in your life. You have no liabilities, nothing else to worry about except to focus on yourself and focus on figuring something out. It's the easiest time ever. Like it's never going to be a better time than now. And that's why it's like when we got started, we did everything. Realistically, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that difficult. It was simple. We just had to do it. Like, it's never an easier time than now. You have no liabilities, and now's the time to get it done.
Yeah, you have nothing really holding you back except for your own mind.
Exactly.
And you guys had that mindset from the jump of like, wake up early, gym, work, grind.
Yeah, and it's like
train.
You try to find something that has very little barrier to entry, and it's like you do it for a year. What's the worst case? But what's the alternative? You scroll on TikTok? No,
That's
it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, like I don't want to get started. I'm worried. It's too risky. It's more risky to sit there in your bed and do nothing.
Yeah.
Like it's very like I see it often, and people will complain about like I'll see a grown man with a family, and he's like, I can't afford to take my daughter to Disney World for her birthday, and then he watches college football on Saturday and the Bears on Sunday. It's like, how are you supposed to respect someone like that when it's so easy to just, if you just tried, you could give your family such a better life, but you want to be selfish and just not commit to yourself and your family for 6 months.
So true. Right? So true. It's the same people that be on Twitter just typing dumb shit. It's like, bro, what are you doing with your time?
And that's why I also tell my students is when you're on this build phase of your life, whether it's your business, your family, your faith, fitness, whatever you want to do in your life, is there are things that are going to help you and there are things that are going to hurt you.
And you know what those things are.
Just write them out and just do the good things, right? Is working out, calling your family, working, whatever that may be. And then the bad things, drinking, smoking weed, anything like that. Football games are not going to help anybody get rich, right? It's a luxury that you can do and you have accomplished your goals, but it's not going to help you do anything in your life. Scrolling on your phone, all that stuff, and just write out what's going to help you and what's not going to help you, and just do the things on the left column.
Just by cutting out the bad things, you're going to get so much further ahead. You don't even have to do the good things. Just cut out all the bad things. You're going to be like, whoa, I thought I had no time, and now I have 10 hours a day to focus on my business because I'm not being an idiot for 10 hours a day.
I was going to say that too. It's just like, people think they got to do all this extra stuff, but when in reality, like you said, write down the good and bad, start cutting out the bad things, or at least like limiting them.
Yeah.
Like I still drink pretty often.
Yeah,
but I used to drink a lot. But then I realized, like, shit, this is holding me back a little bit.
Yeah.
My cognitive ability and my ability to show up for hours.
And you know what's right and wrong. You just don't want to point it out.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people could change their life in 2 months by just looking at their screen time every morning.
Yeah,
like
that too.
Yeah,
like,
it's just
I don't
holding yourself accountable.
I don't have time, and you look and it's 4 hours on TikTok and Instagram every day. It's like, there you go.
And like we didn't even realize until at least like when I deleted TikTok and Instagram, it's like I went on my phone 10 times throughout the day, just go click on it. Why? It's not going to accomplish anything. I'm just going to go and scroll. And so you're just like subconsciously trained that it's something you have to do. But once it's gone, you won't think about it.
Yeah, it's such a habit. Like I deactivated, deleted everything, and then it's just like I go on my phone, I go to click, it's not there. We're not drinking right now. What do you want to go
something
back to the gym, go for a walk? Can we send another campaign?
Yeah.
And it's just you're always doing something productive all day, and like you don't see it the next day or a week later, but you do that for a year, every single day you'll be a different person.
That's like when people are working a 9 to 5 and they're like, oh, I work 8 hours a day. And it's like, no, you sit at your desk, you scroll on your phone, you make one call, you worked for 4 minutes. When we're working for 8 hours, we're working for 8 hours. That's why we get done what you get done in 500 years in 3 months.
Yeah.
Because we're working all day and not working for 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Actually.
No, I know. I used to work at an office job when I was 18 and 19. That shit was ass.
Yeah.
But the biggest takeaway from this last little segment is just holding yourself to extreme self-accountability and being very militant with your actions and how you're spending your time. Because we all have the same time every single day. There's somebody out there that will scroll for 4 to 5 hours on socials versus somebody that will spend those 4 to 5 hours dialing in their business, self-reflecting, getting feedback from their team, from their employees, whatever the case is. Who's going to win in the long term, right? So, guys, I appreciate you coming on.
Nice to meet you, brother.
You as well.
Thank you, sir.
This is a great episode, great insight on a very unique model. And congrats on the F8 too, by the way, boys.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if anybody wants to learn how to flip land, go ahead and either DM us on Instagram at Wiener Bros, WIENERBROS, or Carson Buys Land, or there's a free training in the bio too that you can go watch.
But guys, of course, make sure to check out their socials down below in the description. And as always, don't be motivated, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next video.